Hello everyone, this is Just a Dad. Today we're going to brew a Starbucks coffee with the Keurig K-Slim. Now I don't have every Starbucks K-Cup they make. There are lots of Starbucks K-Cups they make. I've got some of the most popular. They got their breakfast blend, their cafe. This is kind of a newer one, but it's getting a lot of good reviews. The Essential Vitamins, this 2X caffeine one, and then the vanilla flavored one. Then I've got one more, the Blonde Roast. So Keurig is pretty good about putting what they want their K-Cups brewed on. So their directions say use the 8-ounce setting on the brewer. Now you don't have to use the 8-ounce, you can use a 10-ounce setting, but at least they do give you recommendations. A lot of K-Cups don't give you any recommendations at all. 8-ounce setting. So I just checked the directions on all of these. They all said use the 8-ounce setting. Now the nice thing about this Keurig K-Slim, it does give you the option. I can brew an 8-ounce, 10-ounce, or 12-ounce cup of coffee. Now the instructions said to use 8-ounce. I don't have to use an 8-ounce. If 8-ounce is too strong for you, use a 10-ounce. 12-ounce gets pretty watered down, pretty weak, and even the 10-ounce to me is pretty weak. The 8-ounce really does resemble like a coffee you would get at the store the most. So let's do their breakfast blend. You're just going to put the K-Cup in. Going to close the lid. We're going to choose 8-ounce and the K. And it's going to brew a coffee on the 8-ounce setting that we would get at Starbucks. And in about a minute, you've got a coffee K-Cup. This K-Slim is really quiet and it's really fast about making a coffee. So with all K-Cups, they do recommend you stir these drinks before you drink them because it does get kind of weak towards the end of the brew. And they come out, it's a really hot cup of coffee. Yeah, so that's about 165. Pretty standard for a coffee. So I'm going to do them in order here. We'll do the next one. I'm also, at the end of the video, I'm going to cut all these K-Cups open. We're going to see if we can see a difference. And we're going to do a taste test. Again, I'm going to press the 8-ounce and the brew. Okay, so we'll take that one out. We'll do the Essential Vitamins. Okay, so now we're going to do the 2X caffeine. Now we're going to do the Blonde Roast. Last, we'll do the Vanilla Roast. Now the Vanilla Roast, you can really smell the vanilla when it's brewing. Okay, so here we have all the coffees. Vanilla, blonde, 2X caffeine, the vitamin, the cafe, the breakfast blend. So again, I'm not a coffee expert by no means, but I just want to give you my simple opinion of kind of what I think. And the main thing is just kind of show you, the K Slim does a really good job of brewing a nice cup of coffee with a Keurig K cup. Okay, so the breakfast blend is a medium roast, and I do get just a tinge of sweetness to this coffee. The Cafe Verona, now that is a dark roast, and it definitely tastes like a dark coffee. To me, maybe I do get that sense of maybe a slight bitterness from the dark chocolate also. Now the essential vitamins, I actually don't like the taste of it as much. Even though it's a medium roast, it kind of reminds me of a dark roast. Now the 2X caffeine, it's along the same lines of the essential vitamins. It's also a medium roast, but it does have an extra kick, and these do make good espresso shots when you use them in like a cafe, Keurig K Cafe. But for a coffee, it's a pretty strong cup of coffee. The blonde roast, now this was the mildest roast, but it also tasted the weakest. And then the flavored, so the vanilla flavored, you've got to really like vanilla. This is a really strong tasting vanilla coffee. It's still really bitter. There's really no sweetness to it, but it does have that vanilla taste to it. So I imagine all flavored coffees from Starbucks are going to taste really flavorful, because you could just tell when I was brewing it, it tasted really flavorful. So, the breakfast blend is probably my favorite right now. Now, none of these had that smoky taste that you'll get from like the French roast. I've had the French roast before, and I can taste that not a little bit of burnt, kind of smoky flavor to it. That's kind of an acquired taste of Starbucks that I just don't have yet. I do use it for espresso shots and that. So these coffees, they all taste relatively well. They're all pretty bitter. They're all a pretty strong tasting coffee. That's what the amazing part is. So these are all K-Cups, and I was critiquing them in that, but it's amazing that a K-Slim, I think Keurigs have just come a long way of making a cup of coffee. Now they only make 8 ounces, but that's a pretty nice cup of coffee. So the breakfast blend probably was the best. These are just really, really dark and strong. So if you're used to a really strong coffee, the essential vitamins and the 2X caffeine, and this was a pretty light roast. So let's cut the K-Cups open. So all these K-Cups, they get one needle punctured in the top, and they all get a needle punctured in the bottom. That's where the coffee is going to come out. So most Starbucks K-Cups come with this extra piece of, a lot of K-Cups don't come with this piece right here, but I've cut the bottom off. There's your coffee filter. And most K-Cups come with 2 tablespoons of coffee. And they use a paper coffee filter, which is really important. You don't get sediment in your coffee because they use a paper filter in a K-Cup. Okay, so I've got them all cut open. This is a really light colored, the vanilla. The blonde roast is probably the lightest colored. And, this was a dark roast, so it's really dark. But the essential vitamins and the 2X caffeine are also pretty dark roast. And then probably the medium is the breakfast blend. But they all seem to be about the same grind. Almost a medium to a fine grind. So I hope the video helps. Again, it's just to show you that the K Slim, you can produce a really nice cup of coffee with a Starbucks K-Cup. If you got any questions on the different K-Cups or different reviews you'd like to see in the future, leave them in the comments down below. Thanks everybody for watching, and if you could, please like and subscribe.